so that all of us somehow grow up.
Okay. All right, and on the same breath, let's now speak to Advocate Muthomi Thiankolu by way of phone on that letter that Jubilee has now sent to Chief Justice David Maraga. Good afternoon, Mr. Thiankolu. Thank you for joining us here on KTN News Desk. What do you think about the contents of that letter to the Chief Justice?
To me, at least, what I found most unfortunate about the letter is, number one, it would emanate from a man who is supposed to be a member of the cabinet. And the concern for me is not the merits of the allegations in the letter, and I actually believe there are no merits, but there is a bigger concern, because when you read the letter, the message that the government seems to be passing is that the court should be deciding cases the way the government wants, that we should have a judicial philosophy in which the court decide cases in a way that does not rub the government the wrong way, and assuming that is the philosophy, then the question is whether there is any room for such a judiciary in our current constitutional framework. In my view, this letter is a contempt of court. It is completely uncalled for. It is evidence of perhaps Jubilee's lack of tact, because I keep saying in your show that maybe the biggest enemy of this government is not the people they think are the enemies of the state, but its own internal advisors. Clearly, whoever advised the penning of this letter, there is nothing good that can come out of it, whether from a legal point of view, whether from a political point of view. And in my opinion, it's very unfortunate that we would have a situation where a cabinet secretary would want to lecture the Chief Justice on how the court should decide the cases. It would have been more interesting if the letter went into specifics of showing which case they believe was wrongly decided. And even assuming this letter had the merits, this is not the proper way to go about it. If you have any complaint about how a particular judge or group of judges have handled the case, you take your complaint to the Judicial Service Commission by way of a petition. There is a prescribed procedure for doing it. But there is another little matter which I also think the country should be debating. Raphael Tuju, as we speak, is a designated member of the cabinet. Should he still be holding a political office within the Jubilee coalition? Because the philosophy of our constitution is that members of the cabinet should not be politicians. And maybe the first thing Jubilee, or rather Raphael Tuju, should be telling us is why he is still the Secretary-General of the Jubilee coalition after accepting to be nominated into the cabinet. Because clearly when we said we don't want, members of parliament to be in the cabinet, the philosophy was we want the cabinet to be composed of professionals and people who do not descend into the arena of partisan politics. This letter, by its very nature, is inviting the judiciary or accusing the judiciary of being co-opted into partisan politics.
Right.
It is not a letter that should be coming from a man or a woman who is a member of the cabinet. Even assuming the allegations were true, this would not be the person writing such a letter, and to me it's again evidence of very poor appreciation or perhaps deliberate disregard of the constitutional framework we have in our country.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us. That is Muthomi Thiankolu, an advocate, saying that that letter sent from Jubilee to the Chief Justice David Maraga is an attempt to lecture